What up? What up? Hello, everybody. Happy Election Day. How's everybody doing? Y'all ready for a new president? Because it doesn't matter what happens, we're going to get a new president tonight, whether you like it or not. How's everybody doing? Karma, what's good, sis? I'm coming to you live from Fanbase, YouTube, and of course, Instagram. How are you, sis? Will you be in VR chat tonight? Yes, morning, well, afternoon. Well, I guess morning for you, huh? You guys are 12 hours behind me now, I think. That time zone is serious right now. What's up, Soup? Uh, also, also 12 hours behind me. It is, God, what time is it now? I have no idea. It is 11:24 where I'm at right now, PM. So by the time I wake up, America will have a new president. Big shout out to Sherwin, too. Sherwin is putting on a big production for the election over in VR chat. So big shout out to him. So if you guys want to participate in the election like you've never done before, make sure you head over to VR chat and show some love. Yeah, show some love. I'm actually just going to send this out to a few people. Give me a second here. Yeah, man, show some love to Sherwin, man. He puts in a lot of work for what he does. And that's again what I love about this space, right? We all have the ability to do the things that we love to do, and also the things that we do best, and that's important because that keeps you grounded and keeps you passionate about the things that you're doing, which is kind of the topic tonight. Once we get to it, excuse me, just a second. I'm sending out some invites here. That's going to be kind of the topic, right? Um, like back to basics, and I'll discuss more about that um, as we're in the midst of a huge number of changes on the platform. All right, give me a second. Just sending out some invites. And again, I'm sorry, I hate sending mass invites, but that's the only way I can let people know that I am on and around. So, um, I promise it'll be painless as soon as I'm done sending. All right, that's what I'm going to send. Hopefully, those 4 people will wake up. What's up, nobody? What's good? Yes, it's election day. Let me get a bit more light. All right, it's better. It's election day, man. Election day in the city. It's just like Christmas for nerds, political nerds. I am not political, left or right. Um, I believe good people should just do good things to receive good results. Um, that seems to be hard in this environment, extremely hard. What's up, Stacks? So, what is everybody's plans for today? First of all, have you all voted? Second, have you all voted statewide and local wide and citywide? Because that's where it really matters. We hyper focus on the actual presidency and not so much on. Um, Oops, sorry, my back. What's up, Shay? We hyper focus on the presidency, not the stuff that really matters to us, which is our local elections, your judges, your sheriffs, all those people that make decisions for your neighborhood. That's where we should be putting our focus because those influence the bigger elections, right? The president can't come and fix a pothole in front of your house, right? He can't come and tell you who your sheriff should be, who may be targeting your children, right? That's where it matters for us. We can really make a difference. So this isn't a political. YouTube Live or IG Live or Fanbase Live. I'm not getting into politics. I want to talk more about you and your successes. How's everybody been, first of all? I hope everybody's been dope. Congratulations to all those that took the time to apply for the new tools that Meta has given us. The crooks and corrupt keep reading it though. Yeah, I mean, honestly, America is a corporation, right? So it's not necessarily built for the poor people. The country is built for corporations. I said it. Yeah, get at me. I mean, it is what it is. We have a guise of control, but we're not really in control of a whole lot, as you may or may not have found out. And even when you reach a certain status, you are still obligated to certain things, right? So it's just a perception of control that we may be tapping into. Is not necessarily always a reality, but it is what it is. It doesn't stop me from doing anything I want to do when I want to do it, because I'm going to do it the way I want to do it every single time. Uh, so let's talk about y'all, though. Um, let's talk about y'all. First of all, who is in the program? Who decided to take the effort to fill out the application, enter the Meta program, and allow all the access to the new tools? What's up, Solar? If that's you, raise a hand. Is you in the Meta Creators, Meta Horizons Creator Program? That is what we're going to call it now. I'm not going to call it the monetization program because I know it looks different for different people, but it is actually called the MHCP. So the Mac Hip. So you're in the Mac Hip program. What's up, Tricks? Good, good. What's up, Mav? Good. For those of us that have been in the program for a little while, we can tell you that sometimes it looks a lot more fun from the outside in, as Mavericks can probably tell you. Mavericks can probably tell you. But there are an immense amount of opportunities if you take this thing seriously and utilize it for what it is, and that's really the ability to learn and have these tools, right? Because these tools transcend beyond the walls of Horizon Worlds. You can literally, Max, I'm not here. Excuse me. You can literally do amazing things with the access to the knowledge and utilization of the tools, right? Meta has laid it out and given us opportunities to learn, to grow. If you pay attention, you start to learn what is important to Meta. And really, that's really what's important in the industry as they lead the industry in VR. So pay attention to that stuff. I gave a master class yesterday, so shout out to anybody that made it. If you didn't make it, I will be doing it again on Thursday. So Soup said he applied for car insurance. Hey, listen, man, maybe one day you'll be able to go Geico in the metaverse. Who knows? Um, I'll build a world just for you so you can save that 15% you're so adamant about. But for those that didn't make it, I did hold a masterclass in my new world called Masterclass. What's up, Queen? And really what it was is my perspective of what the program can be for you, right? It wasn't a training exercise for me to teach you how to use the tools. It is just me as an individual that's built a brand that has been monetized for roughly 2 years now, and how I feel you can impact your business or brand with the utilization of the tools. Again, just my vision of what this thing is. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to follow my advice, but I will say that I have been successful in helping people achieve their goals in this space, and I'm proud of that. So I won't deny or be too humble about that anymore. I've put in a lot of work. The same work that you've all put in to learn how to script and build and gather people is the same amount of energy that I put towards understanding the space, the people, the movement, the networks, and what we can do in here on a wider scale as I think for the future, not just necessarily for today or immediately tomorrow. That's my work and my commitment, right? And I'm proud of that, as proud as you all should be for the work and commitment that you've done for your businesses and brands and all the tools and things that you've learned in this space. That's what I do, right? I have a 20 plus year career in doing this at a corporate level for people to make a ton of money with. I'm known well, my role actually, as I was in that field, was to go in and fix problems. Right when something wasn't operating at full capacity or full optimization, or if they were in the red, for simpler terms, my job was to go in there and figure out a way to make it green, with the tools that I have and the creativity and strategy that I put in place. That allowed me to work with teams of people, from teams of 50 to teams of thousands, and figure out where we went wrong in the training, where the systems didn't work, or really sometimes just the attitude of the people using their system. Because really, it really just boils down to people. I think I appreciate that. Soup. Soup says I played a huge role in a lot of people's success in this space, and I appreciate that. I really do, because that is important to me. It really is. That is my purpose in this space. And I get it, right? You don't know me from Adam. You don't know me from any other creator in this space. I may give an air as a know-it-all. I truly don't, and I never want anybody to think that I do know it all, because I don't. But my training has just learned me to figure it out real time, right? That's where my expertise is, in figuring out complex solutions and making it work, and sometimes breaking it down to make it easy. I don't have to know all the ins and outs of every single tool that's available. I just need to know what those tools are for, and how they can be purposed, and how people can utilize them into making their days today better for themselves. That is what I do. That is what I do, and what I've gotten paid for 2 decades. What's up, Nikki? Zartek was good. McGlow, welcome, welcome, welcome to the chat. So, if you didn't have an opportunity to make it to the masterclass at my New World Masterclass, which was lovingly built by Parsifal, one of my favorite creators, um, stop by. Stop by. I'll be doing the class again on Thursday. Mav says, bottom line, is a full time job and a college all at once. It has bad sides like any job. Yeah, and I appreciate that, Mavis. And one thing I want people to understand about entering the program is it looks easy from the outside in, but any of you that have actually built a brand in the metaverse or attempting to, understand that it always looks easy. No one sees the amount of work that it takes for that 10% of the result that's seen to the public. And that's not just for the horizon roles. That is a life of an entrepreneur. It is like, the analogy that I would use as an entrepreneur life is, think of a iceberg, right? You see, no matter how big the iceberg is, all you see is the tip, pause. And the majority of that iceberg is underneath the water, right? For an entrepreneur, the majority of the work that we do is underneath the water, and all you're going to see is the tip. Pause. The end. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying pause, because that's inappropriate. All you're going to see is the tip of the iceberg, which is the results of all the work that we've done underneath. What's up, Leah? And that's the life of an entrepreneur. It is not glamorous by any sense of the words. Now, you can do glamorous things on that journey, right? And if you follow my story, you know that I operate my business now from Dubai, right? It is happenstance that I've been here, but I'm a Wi-Fi warrior, so I can conduct my business anywhere, because all I need is a Wi-Fi connection and my Oculus. That is it. That is how I'm operating my business on a full-time basis now. So it allows me to do it from anywhere in the world, right? I'm a nomad. So you're just seeing the tip of some of the stuff that I do from where I do it, because I get to do it in a place that's exotic and glamorous, and nowhere near as expensive as you might think it is. I keep saying that over and over and over again. I just happen to do it from Dubai, and it's brought me a certain amount of peace. But also, I get to live a lifestyle that I wasn't living back home, right? I get to go to beach clubs and luxury hotels and eat dinner on the beach at fancy places, and all this stuff costs about the same as or sometimes cheaper than it would cost me to do in America. What's up, Lo? So, but the masterclass, right? The masterclass is really just designed as an entry point for you to answer any questions about the program now that you're entering. I do realize that there are varying levels of the program, so I won't address things specifically. I'll definitely be speaking on a general term, but will add impact, excuse me, to the things that you're doing in the space, and you'll walk away with some really tangible things that you can execute on immediately. Um, but my purpose for my life today isn't to push the masterclass. My purpose for the live today is to kind of talk about where you are and how you feel about your business and brand. Thank you, Bernice. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Um, I always relate this stuff to my journey. I can't speak to anybody's journey. All I can speak about is my experiences. And if you feel some of the things that I'm going through, I know I don't go through these things alone. I know that the experiences that I feel, the things that I go through, my growth is doesn't solely belong to me, as we all experience these things as we grow together in our businesses and our brands. So, what I do in this space, in my capacity to help people, has been the core of my business since day one. It actually didn't even start off as a business. It really just started off as a way to help creators. But I realized that, yes, I could potentially monetize this thing, expand it on a global scale, and reach beyond the walls of Horizon Worlds while still continuing to do what I do in this space and aid in creators maximize their potential and help them achieve their goals. I can do that for anybody, right? Somebody that's been here one day, somebody that's been here a year, 2, 3 years, or for a corporation who has mighty marketing budgets who does it on a global scale internationally. I have consulted with some really big companies. I have also consulted with an entire country. I consulted with the country of Zimbabwe. So we may or may not see the realization of that next year. It just depends. I don't control those things. Um, but I've laid it out. I've gotten paid for my services, and I've been extremely blessed in able to talk about what this thing can be for people. Right, that is what I do. So, but the core of my business always started with people. Right, people that had questions and couldn't find the answers from all the talented people that were just too busy to take the time to slow down to help them. That is where I stepped in. As an entrepreneur, you have to find where the need is in whatever market you're entering, because that's where the success lies, right? I don't necessarily know if we need another Coca-Cola the same way that Coca-Cola does it, right? But what I do know is that maybe we need a Coca-Cola that targets a specific person, that has a specific flavor, and whatever those things are, right? I just seem to find a niche within this space to add value, and I'm adamant about doing that. And I try to at every single instance meeting I do with every single person, whether it's just a tad bit of a little bit of information, or giving them the entire blueprint and plan, which you can hire my service for to lay out a detailed strategy for you to become successful. Again, you don't have to listen to all of it. But if you do pay your money to sit down and talk with me, for me to help you, to assist you, then utilize my experience, my pain points, the things I failed at, and all those things to help you be successful, right? You really have to kind of, like, if you don't understand something, but somebody else does, if you don't follow that advice and you're still not successful, all of that falls on your shoulders, and that is your responsibility, and you have no one else to blame but yourself. You can listen to anything you want to listen to, but if you don't implement some of those things that have worked for other people, or who have an understanding of the space to make it work for you, that's entirely on you. Nobody else can help that but you. But one thing I have noticed, and again, I'll speak specifically to my story, is I noticed that in my journey, as I got pulled in so many directions, I started to sway away and veer away from the things I got started for in the first place. And I want to be really clear about the distinction and the separation between those things. So I understand that as your business grows, more services may need to be included in that business for the expansion and growth of your brand. I understand that completely. But also, we all start our businesses for a reason. Right. I don't know what the reason you started your business for. Some people do it because they don't like working for other people. That is it. Some people do it because they want to make a ton of money, or they want to control the amount of money that they gain access to by working for yourself. You really, sometimes you can't do that when you worked in a controlled environment or are employed by other people where it's not a sales job. Meaning, if you get a regular paycheck every first and 15th, or once a month, or every week, or however you get paid, you really can't control how much you get paid if you're on a salary for the most part. Unless at some point you can control a bonus, unless at some point you can um, tap into the sales or incentives. For the most part, your paycheck is going to look exactly the same. So people that start businesses, that become entrepreneurs, oftentimes do it because they want to be in control of how much money they make. Keeping in mind that there is no guarantee. What's up, Marcus? There's no guarantee to the number of money you make if you do it for yourself. We can just kind of do these things. Know that if we keep doing it and we do reach a moniker of success, then yes, potentially we can make a ungodly amount of money and control it, or at least be in control of our day, quotes unquotes. So, but however or whatever you do as an entrepreneur for your brand, you always started from a place of passion or purpose, which is why you decided to go into business or become an entrepreneur or build a brand in the first place, right? Every single time. What I find that what happens is, again, as you grow, as you start to expand services, as you now direct your energy in towards other people, um, you may sometimes lose that original focus for your business. And if you sway too far away from the core of what your business, you won't always find the happiness or the passion or the purpose that you once had at the start of your business in some of the other things that you're doing. Right. I feel like in my personal journey, I started to veer way too far away from the reason I got started and the reason my brand exists to begin with in the first place. It's not that I don't have a passion of supporting other people or I'm committed into building brands for other people, but I realized in not having the platforms that fed my soul here, which is for me was Meta Talks Live, it separated me too much from the core of what I really wanted to do. And really, like I went through a process, man. I really found myself not um, wanting to be around people, which is effed up because my business is based on people, and that's not right for my business. I found myself in build mode a whole lot. Yeah, Shay gets it. Yeah, I found myself in build mode more than I'd ever been before. Um, and I like to build, don't get me wrong, right? But I'm not a building creator because I don't always feel like creating through building. I don't. Sometimes I like to do it, sometimes I don't. But sometimes I became obligated to it, and then it felt like a job, and then I lost interest. What's up, Steve? Um, so I really felt like despite all the amazing things that I've been a part of and still I'm still a part of, right? I'm still very involved behind the scenes in a ton of stuff. But the thing that fed my soul, the thing that brought me peace, I was so far removed from it that it now started to affect my attitude with the other things. And listen, I need my energy to be a certain thing for me to present a certain way. If my energy's off, my presentation sucks. I'm usually not the most pleasant person to be around, which again is not me. I don't really feel in a spirit to offer value, which again is not the core of who I am. What's up, Mitt? Um, and I was just far removed from that. I really was, and I noticed that by the way I avoided things and people. I'd get invites, and I'm not a big world hopper to begin with, but I would get invites, and I wouldn't accept the invites because I didn't feel like I should be there, or as if I was really wanted in that space because I hadn't been around. What's up, teacher Danny? And listen, it could be reality. It could be just me manifesting way too much in my mind, but I didn't feel connected to the community. I didn't. I just didn't feel like I was particularly needed or wanted there. And I know my place, right? I know what I've done. I know how I've helped people, but at some point, you have to still feel like you're wanted in a space in order to for the anxiety to subside. And I just didn't feel like I was wanted there because I didn't feel like I was contributing the way that I have always contributed. And I went through an entire process. I really did. I mean, I lost a lot of people. For me, I don't have a reverse scare. So the minute somebody does something intentionally that I don't like, I'm usually just going to not spend as much time around that person because I'm just trying to protect my energy, right? I don't fake it with people. You'll know instinctively if I rock with you or if I don't. Hey man, what can I say? I'm human. But I don't have a reverse scare and I don't fake it. Right. I'm very genuine and I like to present myself in a genuine manner. And I just didn't feel like I could do that a lot of times in the capacity that I was moving in. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time in build mode and a whole lot of time by myself, or with very few people. And that took me out of my purpose. It really did, because my purpose isn't to spend time alone. It was never to create and be this amazing creator when it comes to building. It was really just to help people, and my platform to do that, and the platforms I had created to do that um, didn't exist anymore. And the sad thing is that I cared so much about it and am so invested into what other people did, um, that no one cared about the platforms that I was so passionate about, right? But again, that's me manifesting overthinking in my mind. Maybe they did care, but I don't expect people to send me a message every day. We care about you. We care. But when you isolate yourself, when you get away from your core, like this stuff and that voice in your head becomes louder and louder and louder. And I've got to tell you, that voice in your head can be a blessing and a curse, right? That voice can tell you to keep going, take one more step, try it another day, or that same voice can stop and say, you know what, why are you doing this? You're not getting any results. Nobody gives a shit. Excuse my French, this is for children. Um, and that voice can be louder than any voice in your head, even when you know something is successful, even when you've reached a certain amount of success. We self sabotage our successes a lot because of that voice saying that you don't belong here, you don't know what the hell you're doing, and there's no way in the world that you can continue to do this because you're going to be laughed at, nobody's going to care, and it's just a stupid idea. That comes from an internal voice. It has nothing to do with what people say about you, because that same voice that turns into a voice of belief can push you through any challenge, any circumstance, any obstacle that is presented to you in front of your face. Anything. Doesn't matter what the whole world is saying. If you believe that you can achieve it, you put the work to learn your craft to achieve it, and you refuse to let time be an obstacle for you to reach that goal, you'll reach that goal. But that voice in your head will tell you, nah, son, you can't do that. Just sit down and chill. Let somebody else do that. Look how they're doing it. They're doing it so much better than you. What are you doing it for? What's the point? Nobody's going to follow it. Nobody's going to like it. Like that voice is crazy. And we listen to that voice. And you know how I know that we listen to that voice? Because I see the talent that exists in this world and specifically on this platform, and how people second guess themselves every single day, talk themselves out of an amazing opportunity because that voice internally is telling them that they're not good enough. That voice is your voice. You got to grab that voice by the throat and backslap it back and forth like Pinky. Put the powder on your hand, smack it upside the head, and say, you know what? I can do all of this shit. Because if that person can do it, I know I can do it. If I can do it, I know that person can do it. Like that's what we've got to do with that voice in our head. Smack it around. But when you get too far removed from the reason that you're doing it in the first place, that voice becomes loud. Loud. When I started Meta Talks Live, man, that world came from such a negative place, which is so crazy to think, right? Um, if you don't know, I was on a build. The build of and the team I was with building went completely sideways. We fell out over something really trivial, and I left there feeling like I didn't belong in this space. I really did. I was so um, hurt, not emotionally hurt, but as a creator, I was so hurt by the situation, and I left there with resentment, with an "I'm going to show you" type attitude. That is the way. That's why the building looks like a hexagon. You know why? Because I didn't see a building that looked like a hexagon before. That's why I built it that way. It didn't look like anything I'd ever seen. I know I'm not the strongest builder, but I know I haven't seen this building before. It wasn't four walls in a box like everything else I'd seen in the space to that date. That's why I built it in a hexagon, open air, seats that floated up in the air to ask questions. I built that world to prove something to the people who made me feel like I didn't belong in the space as a creator. But you know what happened with that world? It turned out to be the most impactful world that I've ever created or that I've seen to feed my soul. Right? I'm not just saying that because I built it. I just know what that world did for me. I know what that world did for the people that took the stage, but also to the people in the audience. I know what it did for them in their careers. And forget careers. I know what it did for them in their soul. Um, I was with Matlow the other day, and for those that don't know, season 5 of Meta Talks Live was built by Matlow from DeVeo Technologies. Um, he built the world. Um, I couldn't be happier with the way he captured my vision of that world. And then I just kind of went in and added my MetaClean stuff to it and kind of just personalized it a little more. But he said something to me um, about the show. Um, he was first of all extremely appreciative to have the opportunity to be on the show. And again, the way I schedule my show is, what's up, news? The way I schedule my show is I schedule my show based on what I think the community needs, right? So I know a lot of people have asked me to be on the show and I've denied, and it's not anything to do with how talented you are. It really isn't. There's a ton of people that I'd love to have on the show, but the timing just has to be right, right? I'm very instinctual about the guests that I have on that show. I don't pick people for creativity. I don't pick people because you have the latest, most spectacular world. There are a ton of shows that do that stuff. I pick people for that show based on where they are in their creativity and what the community needs for inspiration, because that stage has to be a point of inspiration for everybody, right? So I've picked creators who were once successful and have felt a certain way about the platform, and I've brought them on that stage because I knew putting them on that stage is where a lot of people were in their journey, right? And that ability to tell that story, to share your frustrations or pain in front of a group of people that love you is different. And Matt Lowe said to me, he doesn't know what it was about the show that allowed people to feel as comfortable as they feel, for them to share these extremely traumatic experiences in front of a group of strangers and feel safe doing it. And I told him, it's the people in the audience, because my audience attracts a crowd that loves the creator. It's not for me. I don't get a lot of newbies and a lot of strangers hopping in there, a lot of people looking for nightclubs to just stick around. I don't get that stuff. You know what I get? I get a crowd of people that love the person that is on the stage and just want to hear their story and their journey. And that love radiates through that space. It does. I'm extremely protective over that brand, but I abandoned it for a year and a half. I was so far removed from that show. A year and a half. My last show was in April of 2023. I was so far removed from that show that I started to lose the purpose of why I'm here to begin with. I'm business. I'm so business all the time. I really find time to socialize because of my lack of socialization. I no longer have really like a core group of friends that I can tap into. I feel anxious when I go into these spaces because I just haven't been there in a while. People have been connecting one and one and with each other for years now. And as long as I've been here, I don't feel connected to a lot of those people, even though we've been here the same amount of time, because I've spent so much time in the service of others. And I feel it when I walk into rooms. I do. And it hurts a little bit sometimes, but I have nobody to blame but myself, because that is a choice that I made for the way I move my business. But I was so far removed from the core of my business and my brand, of the reason I started, the reason I was passionate about doing the things I do, that it started to affect me and started making me lose hope in this space. As much as I try to be inspirational and positive, I started to lose hope in this space from my own personal feelings. I was too far removed. This is a reason for this life, for this live. If you feel that way, If you feel like something isn't quite right with your brand, your presence here, you don't feel that same spark or energy. And I know the platform's changed a whole lot. It's expanded into a whole bunch of people who don't know or had the feeling we had when we first came into the space, right? That feeling was of creativity, was new, it was fresh, it was curious. We operated on a different level before the word monetization ever existed on a global scale. But you felt that passion when you started your business. You really did. I appreciate that, Leah. I really do. Leo says, I'm glad I didn't abandon the place. You felt that passion. So I'm going to tell you, man, if you don't feel passionate about the things that you see or are doing in this space, stop for a minute and think about the original reason you came into Horizon Worlds and what made you stick around. I can guarantee you the reason that you're not passionate about this platform anymore is because you're too far removed from your original plan. Get back to your basics and the things that made you passionate to begin with and tap into that. I guarantee you it's gonna feed you. I know for a fact it fed me. You know how I knew? Because when I was on that stage at that master class, I felt like I was at home. And this is a brand new world, my first time using it. First time really inviting more than three people in there. And most times those even weren't invites, those are people just pulling up on me. But I felt completely at home being able to share insight in order to help other creators figure this thing out. That was a core of my brand. I think I had a full instance too. Yeah, because some people told me that they couldn't get in, and I haven't pulled out an instance for something like that in a while, right? Outside of the block and the stuff I do with the block, outside of just entertainment and watching people dance and sing and laugh, I haven't fooled an instance from an invite that I've sent personally out in a long time because people just haven't shown up, which is why I usually don't send lives because I wasn't moving in that capacity. But man, I felt so at home to be back to the core of what I do in this space. And I realized at that point I was too far removed from the things that I was passionate about and had purpose around. So I know for you, if you feel that way, if you start to feel like there's no reason for you to be here, I'm going to tell you, man, stop and think about what the core of your business was and where you are in relation to that, how far away you are from that. And I think you will see that your original plan isn't being realized. Yeah, it really is that simple. And I'll tell you, man, so much to entrepreneurship, so much to life, as difficult and hard as life is, so much to it really is just simple. It's just tapping into the things that bring you peace. Because if you're not at peace, you're not creating a situation for peace. You're surrounding yourself with people who aren't at peace. You're in environments that aren't at peace when you should be focused about creating those environments to bring you the peace. Peace is not going to find you. You got to be a bloodhound to find it sometimes. My post today, I'm doing my scheduled post so I can be consistent through social media. My post today is if you're surrounded by fools, then guess what? You're probably going to be one of them. You are where you belong. So if you're surrounded by things that don't bring you peace, you can't blame anybody but yourself. You may have to get extreme and change everything about what you're doing in order for you to find that peace. Because peace isn't going to knock on your door, man. You have to create that environment of peace for yourself. I can't tell you what peace looks like for you. I know what it looks like for me. I can't answer that question. Only you can answer that question for yourself. What I do know though is that when you find that peace, when you get to operate from a place of passion and purpose and not pain, it's different. The walls are broken down. The things that you enjoy doing will feed your soul and be enjoyable and be fun. You won't always find that in other people. So, my purpose for you is to find out. I feel like Mission Impossible. Like when Ethan opened up the briefcase and the message would destruct in 5 seconds. Well, this message ain't going nowhere. It's going to exist on the ether forever. My goal for you now is to find the thing that made you passionate about what you do in this space. And I guarantee you, when you get back closer to that thing, you'll start to refine renewed energy, and you will move forward in a different capacity to bring light, not only to other people, but to yourself. Because you got to feed yourself first. You can't be hungry in this space. You can't be hungry and help people. You can't. You have to feed yourself first. I work and operate best, just to make sure y'all clear. This is not a MAGA hat. I should have thought about wearing a red hat on election day. This is Manchester United. Um, I don't care who you vote for. I just want to be clear. I don't want to lose any friends because of this. Um, yeah, so always remember your why. Yeah, that's a key essential for being successful in anything. What is your why? When I start my strategy sessions, I always ask two questions, two really simple questions. I don't care what people want to build. I don't care the business that people are in, what lane they want to talk about. I ask two questions. My first question is, what does a perfect scenario look like at the end of the road that you have envisioned in your mind? Because people want to do some things and don't necessarily know what it is they want to do, right? But you have an end goal. You have something in your mind that says that is what I want to do. That is what I want my business or brand to look like, right? So I always start with that question. What does success look like for you? Have you envisioned the world that you want to create? Have you envisioned the people you want to be around? Like, what does it look like? Simple question. Because you have to understand that, because that gets you towards your goal, right? If you don't know where you're going, then how the hell you know where you're going to end up, right? So that's my first question. My second question is this: why are you doing it? What's the purpose? And if you can't answer that question, you may need to go back to the drawing board, because if you don't understand your why, this road is going to be long and hard. You're going to be a tumbleweed in Tombstone, just floating around from left to right. And I see it every day in this space. I see people who are extremely talented that mirror success of other people without knowing what they want for themselves. And then they just floating around looking for anything that sticks, gravitating to anybody that will listen to their journey. What's up, Shay? Yeah, like tumbleweed. That's what they look like. They're with this group, and then they're with that group, and then nothing sticks. They do it well, and they float around, and they're the most talented people on the planet in regards to what this thing does. But you know what? They don't know why they're doing it. They think they know what they're doing or why they're doing it, but they don't know why they're doing it. What's the end goal? What does success look like for you? And if you tell me success looks like I want to have a talk show like MetaClean, your goals aren't big enough, because your success isn't my success. You can't have my success. You have to have your own, because the journey is different for everybody. Now, listen, there are many things that coexist in the space that look exactly the same. I get it. There's a ton of nightclubs, ton of talk shows. I've owned both of them, right? Ton of people doing music who start in music brands. I'm involved with that, right? But how you do it, why you do it, is your road path to what your success looks like. I'm not telling anybody not to do anything. Listen, if everybody in the metaverse wants to build a nightclub, I guarantee you can probably fill it out once you figure out why you're doing it. And then the next thing is who your customer is, right? But that's a whole nother story. I can guarantee you everybody can fill the nightclub out if they understand why they're doing it and what the purpose is. But if you're doing it because XY nightclub is popular and I want to tap into that popularity, probably not going to work, because you probably won't know the real reason why you're doing it for you and your brand, right? Very, very important. Very, very important. Um, but you also need a place to start from. For me, it was adding value. Y'all know my motto: create, love, inspire, add value. I live every single one of those things, or try to at least every single day with every interaction I have with every person I touch. At least one of those things has to resonate with every conversation, every single time. I'm purposeful. I'm intentional. That is how I move because that feeds me. That's my purpose. I became too far removed from my purpose, which is why this live is about back to basics. So again, just figure out what your base is. I know I'm being repetitive, but I feel like I gotta beat it down and say it over and over and over and over again, so you feel it. Because I'm real passionate, and but I know this works for creators. I know it works because it has. I may have, from what and how I move, from what I do, I've probably touched more creators than anybody on this platform because I don't do it on a social level. I get deep into their business or have an understanding because I've watched them. I'm a stalker. Yes, yes. I'm coming out. I'm confessing publicly to y'all. I'm a stalker. I stalk people. I'm not going to lie. I watch people's Instagram pages. I need to know what's going on, when it's going on. I need to see who's talking to who and who's not telling the truth. I'm sorry. I'm a stalker. That's what I do. Because it helps me navigate with my clients where they should be and give advice. That's it. I don't tell people who to work with, not to work with. That's not my job. All I do is provide information. They can do with it as they wish. Yeah, I love the phrase, man. Knowledge is power. Nah, son. Knowledge ain't power. The utilization of that knowledge is power. Because we all know a whole bunch of shit that's rolled around in our head that we never do anything with. That's knowledge. But if you don't utilize it, it just floats around in your head. Like I'm a Jeopardy champ in my head, not on the physical show. Because I'll well, when I used to watch Jeopardy, because we don't get Jeopardy over here. Um, but I watch Jeopardy every single day religiously, and I just absorb really useless information. And I can recall things from 20 years ago and not even have an understanding of how or why I can recall it, but don't remember the important stuff I did yesterday. Yeah, my brain is wired weird. So when I played Jeopardy and my wife would watch me, she'd be like, "How do you know this stuff?" And I tell her, I have no idea how I know that stuff. You know what? I have a lot of knowledge, but no execution about that stuff, useless information. So having the knowledge is empower, the execution of that knowledge is. And don't forget that. Don't forget that because whatever you choose to present and show, you've learned at some point and put the energy to learn it or remember it. There's a reason that it's still in your head. Yeah, I feel like our dreams, man. I'm not a religious person per se. I do believe that someone died for my sins in order for me to get to a better place. So if you want to say that's religious or spiritual, whatever. But I do really believe that these things that we can't let go of. What's up, Tone? These things that we can't let go of in our brains are there for a reason. And it is our responsibility to execute those things once they're on our minds and our souls and our hearts for too long. And if we don't, we're doing our place in this universe a disservice because now that inspiration and energy has been given to us and we've done nothing with it. Knowledge isn't power, the utilization of that knowledge is. So that's it, man. Listen, go out and vote. I don't know if it's still time for y'all to vote. I think it's 3 p.m. in Eastern Standard Time, which should make it about noon West Coast time. Go out and vote, man. Either way, a new president will be elected today. Um, I'm praying for what this country is about to go through. Either way, um, I'm trying to be optimistic, but unfortunately, our history has told us that we can't always be. I think we're going to go through a lot of pain and struggle before it gets better. And I'm praying for anybody, Robert Kennedy the Jr. Yeah, don't vote for that dude, please. Uh, I'd rather you vote for Elon Musk. Honestly, man, I said in joke yesterday, Kanye picked the wrong year not to run because Kanye might have actually won this year if he would have ran, just because people didn't want to vote for the two choices. Um, yeah, Kanye picked the wrong year not to run, man. Because quite honestly, if I could vote, I probably would have voted for Kanye. What the hell? He put out some dope shoes and some good music. He's proven more to me than any one of the two candidates right now. So, I mean, right? Seriously, like y'all call Kanye crazy, but now you look at his story and you realize, damn, was he really that crazy? Kanye kind of knows what he's talking about. So maybe he has a vision for America that I don't know, right? And I'll trust him. He puts out good music. I love music. Music has fed my soul for my entire life. Why wouldn't I trust him? So um, I probably know more about Kanye through his music than I ever do about Trump or Kamala. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Anyway, man, I appreciate y'all sticking around for me for 50 minutes and 13 seconds. I love you all, man. I wish you much success. Yes, I will be doing another masterclass for everybody that's new to the monetization program. Pull up. It was received very well, so hopefully I can drop at least one nugget that would be useful in your journey. So feel free to share this live. Feel free to encourage people to come to that masterclass. It will probably be Thursday, uh, not at 7 p.m. Eastern, because for me now that is 4 o'clock in the morning, and that was a struggle. So I may actually do it at either 9. I'll probably do it at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. Eastern, um, just so it gives people, everybody, the ability to just make the live 2 hours. Yeah, you're hilarious, Soup. Just so that gives people the ability to make it there or at least catch some of it. So I'll be putting out some more postings. And again, I'm sorry, I'm flooding social media now because I'm getting active again. So I need to establish my presence back in the space. So you're just going to see a lot of me. I apologize. But that's just my plan moving forward. So yeah, catch me on Thursday, man. I will be doing a back in the masterclass. Again, we'll be talking about an introduction to. That's all right, Leo. That's why I'm doing it again because a bunch of people missed it, and people requested and asked if I could do it again. So yes, I will because I didn't record it. Shame on me. I should have recorded it. But quite honestly, I don't necessarily want to record it because this isn't official information from Meta, and quite honestly, I don't need this going out into the ether as the Bible of what this thing is because it's not. It's just my opinion and ways that I think I can help the community in pushing this thing forward. So I don't really need a recorded copy out there as some form of training manual because it's not that. There are no PDFs, there are no recordings, there are no YouTube videos based around it. This is just my personal opinion of how I think the new creators can utilize this thing and push their careers and platforms forward. So it's just a personal conversation in a room full of 32 of my closest friends. That's really it. So I appreciate y'all, man. Listen, man, you know I love the space. I will never abandon Horizon Worlds, no matter where my journey takes me, which is taking me now to other places. This place got me started, man, and I'm appreciative of everything I've been able to do in this space and the people I've been able to do it for, and definitely for the people that have listened to anything that I've ever told them to help them on their journey. You don't have to. I get it. But I am extremely appreciative of everybody's work that they put in here. I feel extremely proud to be around this place sometimes because I'm really around some of the most talented people I've ever met in my entire life. And I don't just say that as a love offering of words. Um, I've been around some amazing and some incredible rooms full of some people who aren't as talented as you think they are as they utilize the talents of the others around them. But I got to tell you, man, I have never ever been in a concentration of talented creators as big as this. Truly, truly blessed to be a part of this community and to help anybody on their journey. Um, my name is MetaClean Rupert. I do operate a business in here called MetaClean Presents. So if you are in need of strategic services, I do that. I can help you. I truly can, or at least I can point you in the right direction to get you going. It is a for-profit business, but obviously, I'm here to help, so I don't mind giving bits of advice that lead you in the right direction. But I do operate a business in here, right? And I love your support in helping me achieve my goals for my business in order to expand and grow to become a global brand. I'm an international brand right now. I'm not a global brand, and that is my purpose and my goal for myself. So, with that said, you know what it already is, man. Create, love, inspire, and never ever forget to add an immense amount of value to the people closest to you. Peace, y'all.